America just witnessed one of its most shocking and heartbreaking political assassinations in decades, and the FBI has finally found the shooter responsible after a grueling 33 hours. At the same time, this morning, President Trump has opened up about this horrific moment when he first learned what happened. Also, lawmakers are now sending warnings to Discord, Reddit, and more on today's episode of the Moreno Show. So if you like having conversations like this, if you think they matter, please consider liking, subscribing, and let's jump in.
When I heard it, I was in the midst of, building for 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom at the White House, right? They don't have a ballroom. They have to use tents on the lawn for President Xi when he comes over. If it rains, it's a wipeout. And so I was with the architects and with design. It's going to be incredible. And they came in, they said, Charlie Kirk is dead. I didn't know what they meant. I said, what do you mean dead? Charlie Kirk was shot. And they thought he was dead because it was so horrific, And I said, dead? And it was like, I just told these people, get out, just go. This is the worst thing. This was so bad for our country.
This moment is so raw, and I don't think the president was alone in his disbelief. I still can't believe what happened, if we're being honest. And he's right. This has been an extremely dark week for our country, from the shooting in Colorado to Charlie Kirk and this disgusting assassination to remembering 9/11 and the lives that were lost so many years ago. And, maybe I'm just young, but I haven't felt anything like this before. This has been an extraordinarily hard week. And now here is the FBI updating the public on the discovery of the shooter.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger.
So those tips, along with a digital footprint that was left on Discord where he was communicating with a need to retrieve the rifle, changing outfits, and other information by his family. That led to the capture. But make no mistake, Candace Owens is right when she says that we need to be questioning absolutely everything here. How long did his parents know? Who else was part of this Discord chat? Who was Tyler talking to whenever he was asking someone to retrieve his rifle? We need to know everything. Anna Paulina Luna is out here. She says preliminary evidence indicates the suspect shared messages on Discord related to the murder. After the Butler, Pennsylvania attempt on President Trump in 2024, investigators also found the shooter used a Discord account. Online platforms, including Discord, are being exploited by extremists for recruitment and radicalization. I urge FBI to investigate the suspect's online activity and any radicalization networks to prevent copycats. Let me know what you think about that. And while this is happening, I have to mention this. All right. One of the most popular voices on the left, Keith Edwards, on his show called The Keith Edwards Show, shared this fake image of the assassin wearing a Trump shirt. All right. This is a completely false, doctored image that he just shares with his audience. And it is just not okay. Watch that.
This is from the Trump administration, so we're going to take it all with a grain of salt. But this is who the far right are trying to say is a left-wing terrorist. You let me know in the comments if you think this man is a left-wing terrorist. I will leave that up to you. But what he is this thing where people are alleging this now. We're still getting information about this alleged shooter. So please just take everything with a grain of salt. But it is looking more and more like this is someone who is in a far right, very online young man, and maybe what is called a groiper. And I'm sorry to have to
I am really disappointed in Keith Edwards for this one. He shared this fake image of the assassin, which honestly I just know that he knew was fake. Okay, because he must have seen this community note. It says rate proposed community notes. That means he saw that this note would have said that this image is not real and that it is fabricated from this original image here. All right. Completely fake, completely made up. And I'm so disappointed. It is just ridiculous. He has almost 1 million subscribers, tens of millions of views a month, and sharing this image only to divide us is extremely disgusting. And also, according to The Guardian, look at this. The headline is Charlie Kirk shooting suspect, details of messages and gun casings emerge. All right, if you scroll down a bit, look at this. In a phone interview Friday, someone who said they were friends with Robinson in high school, who asked to remain anonymous, said that Robinson was pretty left on everything and was the only member of his family that was like really leftist. The rest of his family was very hard Republican, gun-loving, everything. And the friend said he was really the only one that was on the left. The friend said he was stunned when he heard the news on Friday that Robinson was a suspect in the Kirk case. I knew he had strong political views, the friend remarked, but I never thought it would even go near that far. Wow. So there you have it. Not only is this just a disgusting use of AI generation or Photoshop, whatever you want to call it, it's also completely inaccurate. And it is not even for the purpose of sharing truth or discussion, but simply for sharing misinformation. And that is really, really disappointing. Also, this video of Candace Owens on Joe Rogan is going viral. She only had the nicest things to say about Charlie Kirk, including that she believed that he was going to be president one day, and how this wasn't even a unpopular opinion.
Who hired you? Who's
Charlie Kirk? He actually runs Turning Point USA. I know he's like so young; it's insane, and you should look him up and figure out who he is, because he's, in my opinion, he's going to be a future president of the United States. And everyone says that. Every show he's been on in Fox says, like, very rarely do you meet, like Rush Limbaugh just said, very rarely do you meet someone and think that's going to be a president of the United States. Charlie Kirk will be a president of the United States.
But
Charlie did not deserve this. Like I mentioned yesterday, I don't know what the future looks like, but I know that it cannot look like our past. Here's the president once again talking about Charlie, his wife, and the future.
I spoke to his wife yesterday. She's like devastated.
Of course.
But in between the devastation, they want to keep Turning Point going, because so many people called in to me with donations. They went, I don't know who, do we give donations to her? Do we give it to Turning Point? Do we give it to, any one of the hundreds of colleges that he worked with or universities? And they want to keep Turning Point going. They think they can do it. He had a very good staff, I noticed. Charlie would call me up. I'm president of the United States. And I get a call like a day before. Sir, could you come to Arizona tomorrow? I said, Charlie, I'm president. I can't just come. He said, it's so important. Could you play? And then usually try and get there. He's the only one.
20,000.
Yeah, he was such a great guy that he had to end this way. But in many ways, he's bigger now because of what happened. He was really big, important, and I guess this doesn't help his family very much when I say this, but in terms of very, very important, getting that such a good word, such a solid word. You know, we have so many bad people, so many bad philosophies, ideologies, politics. His was basically just good. Family, he talked about family, he talked about get married, go get married. You know, sounds old fashioned when you think about it, but he's right. He was just on. And it's a shame that that voice has been stopped.
President Trump confirming that Turning Point USA is not shutting down after speaking with Erica Kirk is really significant. I also loved what he had to say about Charlie. And although he's no longer with us, I think the point that he was trying to make was that movements do not die with a person, because it is carried forward by the people that supported him. And there's this thing going around online saying that, like, I am Charlie Kirk, right? And any person who is part of this conservative movement, or any person who believes in the value of free speech, or even any person who believes in elevating the conversation through the disagreement, everyone's saying, like, I am Charlie Kirk. And Charlie has undoubtedly inspired millions of people. And I want to end this video with this. It's an old clip of Charlie Kirk debating someone. This has to be one of my favorite videos of Charlie. Check this out.
What do you hope to get out of this? Why are you here?
Okay, I've been asked that question a lot. First of all, that question should not even have to be asked, but when people stop talking, really bad stuff starts. When marriages stop talking, divorce happens. When church starts happening, they fall apart. When civilization stops talking, civil war ensues. When you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to want to commit violence against that group. Whether it be the great genocide, the horrible genocides of the last 100 years, people stop talking with each other because they lose their humanity. I wish we could be here without having my hat thrown off and stuff, but what we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have reasonable disagreement where violence is not an option.
He's right. And now more than ever, do I think we need to elevate the conversation authentically and genuinely? We need to change. We need to be better. We need to be able to disagree, but still love, argue, but still have dinner, and create the future where we battle through ideas and not through violence. But that's just what I'm thinking. That's how I'm feeling. And I'd love to know how you feel about all this in the comment section. And as always, if you made it this far, please consider liking, subscribing, turn on the notification bell, and have a good rest of your day. Episode's over already? Geez, that was fast. Well, they say beautiful things do not last forever, but feel free to watch and listen to another one of these episodes if you're interested in those conversations as well. Also, this next part is huge. Make sure to obliterate that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never skip a beat. I also have a newsletter where we dive into the news, politics, and ideas that shape our future. If you're interested in signing up, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.